Hey everybody, this is Perch, and it's a weird time in the industry. It's not weird. What's happening is that you are seeing kind of these changes roll out, and these changes are beyond the ability of people to control them. So as a result, you're seeing a lot of kind of very strange hot takes and flailing and shouting and screaming, and this is the end of the world. Oh my God, and all the rest. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one thing. It's clear at this point, and spoiler, it was always this way, but it can't control the way the industry is working right now. Big moves are happening. Marvel as a corporation is going with Penguin Random House. That's going to change the way they distribute books. DC has radically changed their lineup. There is a way you can get money. I should shut off my emails so I don't get that annoying beep while I'm talking. And then everybody gets to stomp on over me for having an amateur show. You thought with the April Fool's stuff it was going to get higher quality. Well, ha 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 ha! April Fool's on you. Anyway, what? It's been a long day, folks. It's what's funny is this video is going to go out in the morning, and people are going to go, "What the hell is he talking about?" Like 7:30 in the morning. Anyway, recorded in advance. It's things are changing. You don't have the ability anymore to just kind of tightly control, and arguably you never did. One of the interesting things about interviewing all these people who really made their names and did huge things in comics in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s is that there's some consistent threads that I'm starting to hear, and you'll hear them for yourself. You just listen to all these interviews. There's this deep, hard work to make your way into the business. There's this idea of like, yeah, when I was 12 or 10, I was starting a fan newsletter, and I did that for 5 years, and I would take a quarter that had been stuck on a note card, and the quarter was sticky because it had tape on it. I'd use that quarter to buy some postage, send out these things, and this would be how I distributed these newsletters out, which caused me to learn the industry. And so when I finally got to meet Roy Thomas for the first time, it was epic, and I got a tour of the office, and I really got to learn these things. It's like consistently you hear these stories of these people who bled and worked really hard. There's like a lifelong passion getting into comics. And what you do not hear in any of the stories, like, yeah, I walked in here and then I was quickly put on Superman as a book. And then, I was told to go ahead and create an event 4 years into my career. And you got none of that. You have a lot of people working very hard to get to the business. You have a lot of interesting kind of grappling with problems. I love some of the stories from Jim Salicrup in particular, talking about, hey, we wanted to do this thing and it was going to be very, very hard. So we had to come up with a really good argument to convince, Tom DeFalco or whoever it might be that this is what we should do. And we had to do some kind of business analysis of what would happen. And then we had to show our math. We had to do this and this. And that structure, you listen to all these stories and I compare them to current stories, and it's like, that doesn't seem to happen anymore. Not at that level, not anywhere close to that level. It's not that people are just wandering around, not thinking about anything and just stumbling into stuff, but it's like there's several pieces in that lifelong passion started, before I was 10 years old, working to kind of cut my teeth and get into the industry any way I could, including like going to pick up Stan's toupee across town. I mean, these are all these kind of stories that today, none of that. No, this isn't an old man like kids should work harder. It's nothing like that. It's just, you pick up things by having to learn how to do it. I went to art school. I took classes. I also went to engineering school. I took classes. Many of the classes I took for coding, for engineering, I knew when I was doing it, it's like, I'm never going to use, Perl to do this. I'm never going to code this way. But you learned it because it provides structure for then languages you would know in the future. Same thing with art. You would learn how to like cut letters and things out of lith and put it down and do color separation and all this kind of stuff, knowing, you're sitting there, you're doing that, and then your next class is about using like Photoshop or PageMaker to lay out files, and the technology is going to come and take all this away, but you still do it because you're like, it gives you the mental knowledge of how this stuff's laid out, and that doesn't exist really well today. And I compare it with it, it's a lot of people dump on comics all the time, and I always, man, I hate it. You want to cut right to my heart, and I tell people, I tell you all what bugs me. I shouldn't do that because I know there's some unscrupulous people who will take advantage of that. But one of the things that bugs me is I try very hard to kind of balance stuff, probably more than you might think. Like if I'm going to know I'm going to do a negative review, I make sure that same week I'm putting out some positive reviews just to balance it out. I do not want to be that, that we one of those people. But it's funny. I could put out like 20 positive reviews. I put them one negative review and people would show up like, I don't know why you're always doing negative reviews. This must be a hate channel. I just always like, you bastards. Anyway, I should not worry about it, as everybody tells me in the comments all the time. But one observation about this industry, and I think it's connected to this beginning rant thing that I'm saying, is that it feels like the successes and the failures, but let's focus on just the successes. It feels like the successes are lucked into or stumbled into or accidentally created rather than purposefully created. And what I mean by that, there's been plenty of comics that have been great reads, good, enjoyable, great storylines. And, and of course your mileage may vary. Something I like may not be something you like, but, there's been plenty of pretty cool comics. I like that Silver Surfer Black by Donny Cates Tradmore. I like that. I thought that was a really enjoyable series. I do believe that the creators involved, in this case, Moore and Cates, I believe they were setting out to do good work. I think they knew they had a good idea. They knew they had a story they wanted to tell. And I think they went out and they executed it. I think they had a plan. But I don't think the company realized that, because it felt like this comic came out due to the great work from the artist and the writer involved, as opposed to the company actually trying to put out a thoughtful product. Case in point, the other direction, this J.J. Abrams and Son comic comes out. You get Sarah Pacelli on that. It's not her best work. It looks rushed. It looks like, she's just not terribly enthused to be part of the project. The writing came across that way as well. Kind of the opposite of the Donny Cates Tradmore book, where that one just felt dynamic. It felt like these people are having the time of their life making this comic. The two, one felt like a just corporation gave some people some money and they did it, and the other one felt like there was some real passion involved in it. I've noted the same thing with some of these projects. A lot of the YA projects that come out from Marvel and DC, some of them feel like I've seen ones where the artist is just kicking ass. Guy showed up in the comments in one of the videos. The artist for Gotham High did a hell of a job. It looks fun. You open it up and you just look at the page. It looked like the person was like trying to kick some ass on that book. And you look at that and you go, well, why wasn't this more successful? And there's a lot of reasons for that. It feels like if you sat down and you really thought about those reasons, you'd come to the answer pretty quickly. Like, for example, you're marketing 500 other things going on with Batman, and Elseworlds type title that puts Batman and crew in a high school is going to have an impossibly hard time for anyone to notice it. It's going to get drowned out with all the other noise of Batman. And arguably, we've talked about this before, it fails on one of two counts. Either the crowd who likes Batman won't touch it because it's not the Batman they know, it's too far astray from the Batman they know, or the crowd that doesn't like the current Batman won't touch it because they don't like Batman. So even though you dress it up and say he's in a high school now, it's like people are like, no, it's Batman. If you just think about it from a business strategy perspective, you're like, well, why did we put Batman's name on it at all? You could just have some, have it be a high school, adventure there with some dynamic of high school. And it would have probably sold better, frankly. The Batman name hurt it, not helped. I do these numbers videos. I do these sales analysis videos. And one thing that keeps coming to mind is it feels like people are kind of just throwing darts at the wall, and they're surprised when something goes well, or disappointed when something doesn't go well. But there's not a lot of effort into really trying to adjust that picture one way or another, trying to make it work or not. It feels like it's all just kind of thrown out for luck. And to be clear, again, I don't think that's the creators. In many cases, I think the creators are going out there and trying to do the best they can. It's not the artist, the writer. It's how the company is promoting this project. If we look at this round robin tournament, or we look at Heroes Reborn, both big initiatives from DC and Marvel, both of which have a remarkably casual marketing approach, both of which feel like, I don't know. I mean, there's an ice cream shop down the street, and the owner, I don't know, somebody in that shop, I have no idea who is the person, will adjust the sign that's out on the street based on whether it's cloudy or sunny or whatever weather it is. If it's cloudy, it's like, hey, hot fudge in here. Or if it's sunny, it's like, cool down with some ice cream. And it's like you could tell they're just trying to adjust the message based on the environmental situation that's going on, the weather, because that's going to be the most successful thing to get people to come in and buy ice cream. Whereas with some of these efforts we're seeing from comic companies, it feels like it's like, well, I mean, we came up with a message. Does it fit? I don't know. Screw it. Get it out. It's very strange. And I've seen some emails. I can't show that are tone deaf. Like it's we're going to roll out this Asian anthology, and you read this thing, and it's like, there's things in there that just like you shouldn't say. I wouldn't say, like it doesn't make any. It's just weirdly wrong. And it doesn't seem to fit. It doesn't seem like it's set up for success. It just seems like it's random. And I keep going back to, again, these old interviews with a lot of the people who really made amazing comics in the 70s and 80s. And one continual thing you hear is, yeah, we're trying. It was a lot of fun. First of all, everybody describes their job as fun. It's remarkable. You don't hear a lot of people saying that anymore. It's like, but their jobs were fun. They loved going into the office. They loved doing that work. And the other thing was, we really did a lot of planning to make something work. And that, is anybody doing that anymore? It doesn't seem like it. And I really want to be proved wrong. I really do. I really want for somebody to go, hey, dumbass, no, we plan, and here's how we do it, and here's the thing, and the market's shifting out from under us, but I really want to learn that I'm just being overly negative, and it's actually all awesome. But from the outside to the market, as a retailer, it just feels like, it's like somebody just shoveling coal, and there's a diamond in that coal, but dig through it yourself if you want to find it. Good luck. We're just going to keep shoveling coal. It's just strange. Very strange. There's some really good things happening in comics right now, and I try and highlight them. But they're just getting missed. Like, it shouldn't be that they're going missed. It's very, very strange. What are some good things that you're seeing right now that nobody else is paying attention to? Let me know in the comments below, or just, what is it that this cannot be just, people today don't work as hard as people yesterday. That can't be the outcome. I don't know. Hey, like and subscribe. I'm going to review some comics just randomly. We're going to see what you like. Thanks for listening.